So I was literally, the car dealership kept calling me and texting me, asking me about this, asking me about that. You know how they are, they want to make a sale. So I literally found that car dealership through the Uber app, which is through TrueCar, in order to, rent a vehicle or basically use a vehicle to do ride share, use a vehicle to do ride share. And, I just gave them a call, but when I initially made my inquiry, it was about I think it was a Toyota Van. I think it had like 208,000 miles on it, but I was really just looking at the price and just thinking about getting, basically out of the airport, because I know once I left the airport, who knows? So they contacted me or whatever, and I'm like, how many miles is on it? And she told me, she's like, but if you're looking for something more that's in the price range, come in, we have more vehicles within that price range, and the price range is like 8,000 or 9,000. Keep that in mind. So I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, I wanted to be able to put nothing down because I didn't have nothing to put down. I didn't really even have nothing to get to the dealership. But that's another part of the story. So she was like, yeah, what's your credit? I told her what my credit was in between. She was like, yeah, that's no problem. We can do that for you or whatever. So I'm still trying to figure out how the heck am I finna even get there from the dang on airport. So I literally had to ask, a close friend of mine, which is almost like a sister, somebody I grew up with from high school. She helped me out with a couple of dollars on Cash App. So hold on, give me a moment. She helped me out with a couple of dollars on Cash App. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm praying, I'm like, all right, God, is it your will for me to go up here? Is it not? Because I did not want to leave the airport and be stuck out on the street. So I'm, just trying to be patient about it. They constantly calling. I'm just sitting there at the airport, and it's so amazing because I know it's nothing but God's grace because He always on time. Nobody bothered me for the full 6 days that I was there until I left to try to go and see about something to even drive. So I get another text message or whatever. I had scheduled the appointment to go in and take a look. And then I got a text message saying, your appointment is today at such and such. Are you going to come in? Are you going to come in? So I'm like, well, what are the requirements for me to be able to drive off the lot? What do I need? They typically you need a valid driver's license. They didn't say you had to be in a specific state that you in, even if you're not from the state. A driver's license, a valid driver's license, an income, proof of residency, and I think that was it. I'm like, well, I don't have proof of residency. I do Uber and Instacart. That's the proof of income for y'all for the time being. And I have a valid driver's license. And then they were like, okay, well, something about $1,000 down. I'm like, but I was told that I wouldn't have to put anything down if my credit score was fair or good. They was like, yeah, that's fine. That's true. You can come in and we'll accommodate you for everything else, no proof of residency and no down payment. So I'm like, okay, great. I'm gonna come in. So I get up, call the Uber, literally have to go all the way from the top of the airport down to the bottom of the airport, across the parking lot. It was just crazy trying to get over to the Uber, and the Uber driver didn't even come pick me up where the Uber driver was supposed to pick me up, and I literally had to turn around and walk back. So I'm sharing a story with the Uber driver about how I've been staying at the airport for literally 6 days, and just now, being able to leave and do anything. So as we pulling in, we talking, we laughing, we kikiing. As we pulling in, he see the car lot. Now me looking at the car lot, I didn't even know that it was one of those big fancy looking car lots. I'm thinking it's just gonna be one of those little buy here, pay here, whatever, little rinky deep looking car lots. So it's all extravagant. They got vehicles everywhere, service vehicles, everybody coming in getting their vehicle service, and he looking. So now he looking like, because with me telling him that I've been at the airport, and so now he's trying to figure out okay, well, if you can do it, you can come in here and get a vehicle. I know that I can't, even though that wasn't even the case, because I didn't, and I'm gonna tell you why. So he what was I was like, honestly, I found this place on Uber because he's an Uber driver, and I'm like, with Uber you can do a fleet You can lease a car, rent a car, finance a car, or whatever the case may be. I'm like, I literally found this place on here, so I didn't know anything about it, because I'm basically new here. So he started pulling up, and then he was like, let me hop out the car, because it was a salesperson standing out there. It was a guy. He was like, let me hop out and see if he gonna come over here. He looked like he needs something to do, but in reality he was trying to hop out the car to see if what I had told him about the True Car on Uber, if he would be, basically he was trying to see if he was gonna be able to do it too. So he asked the man, and the man didn't know what he was talking about. He was like, yeah, is this something about when you rent a car on Uber? And the salesperson was like, oh no, you rent the cars over there. Where what he was talking about was when you come in, you from out of, you're not from here, you come in to rent a car, or you either from here and you come in to rent a car and you bring the car back. So he directed us over to the service station. So yeah, he was like, yeah, come on, you get back in the car, because I don't want you rolling your suitcase around trying to, basically act like he was caring. But in reality, it was giving monitoring spirit. So he drove me over to the service station, and I'm looking for the person that was in the text message for the appointment. And they looking at me like, we don't know anybody by that name. I'm like, do you know the manager, Joshua? And then she was like, no, we don't know him either. And I'm like, you don't know the manager? But it was literally because I was at the wrong spot. Where he dropped me off initially, where he asked the salesperson, that's where I was supposed to get out at. So as we pulling off, he like, we looking for a True Car where you can rent the car through Uber. Like, he just turned it to, like, I don't know, them demons just started to come out of him. He was talking to the girl disrespectful. She's sitting there looking lost, and it wasn't even about him. It was me that paid for the Uber to get there for an appointment for myself. And it was just like he was trying to take over. And I'm like, ma'am, don't listen to him. I'm like, I'm not looking to, do whatever he talking about. This the service area, right? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so I guess we got to go back over there. And she was like, yeah. She was looking so confused. And he calling her all type of B-I-T-C-H. Talking about, so why this B come over to my window and you the one? And he was just doing a lot. Like, his vibe just instantly changed once he seen that car lot. And I'm very humble. I'm not into all that materialistic stuff. Like, I like to take care of myself, but I'm not materialistic. I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever. Certain people like that in the world, they try to keep up with the Joneses, but that's not what this is. It was a very needful situation with me being at the airport and not even having money to even leave the airport, just sitting there stuck. So that was literally like a leap of faith right there. So he pulled me back to the front, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine right here. You could just let me out right here. We don't need you doing too much talking. And as I got out, I got my suitcase out, and another salesperson comes to me and said, what's going on? You moving in? They were literally up there making fun of me. I'm like, well, no, I just moved kind of funny. I'm laughing, keeping the energy light, because what the Uber driver just did, how he treated that service agent lady over there, it was just giving. So I came in and I'm asking them, like, do you know who this person is? Because I couldn't pronounce the sales agent name. And they like, nah, we don't know who that is. And then one person was like, oh, I know who it is. The same one that was like, are you moving in? So he like helped me get the suitcase up the stairs to get inside or whatever. So I get inside and I go to the front desk and I, put my name in, let them know who I'm looking for. And they was like, oh no, you don't have an appointment with that guy. You have an appointment with somebody named, you're just gonna say Jay. So I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I signed my name and I went, rolled my suitcase over to the little chairs, and I sat down and I waited. And then the sales agent came out and he like, you got a suitcase? Something he said, and it just, everybody just cracking jokes because I'm literally out there with my blanket, my bag, and my suitcase. Like, where else was I gonna leave it? So yeah, I'm like, y'all need to stop making fun of me. I'm like, no, I just ain't never seen that before. Hey, it's a lot of things people ain't never seen before. It's the first time for everything. You out here basically trying to do everything by yourself, physically, not spiritually, because God, God first, the Most High first. But yeah, so we going through that. So we go and he take me to the big managers or whatever, because the guy that helped me with the suitcase, he just started asking all kind of questions. He was giving monitoring spirit. And he like, she just came here from New Orleans. I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, he just saying stuff to try to get, information out of me. So he like, where'd you come in from? what are you doing here? Why did you come here? And it's like, so I just looked at him like, you asking a lot of questions. He was like, I just want to know. I'm like, thank you. And I went and sat down. And then that's when the sales agent came and, was cracking jokes about the suitcase. And then, led me to the managers. I had to put that part in there. So the managers asking the same thing, like, where you from? And then was asking me about deep dish pizza and all of this. And I'm just looking at them, I'm not really saying too much of what I see in the spirit, but I'm just looking like, okay, yeah, nice to meet you. He's like, well, let me know if you find anything you like, and then we could, get it all filled out, sorted out for you. I'm okay. So running down the fact that I didn't have proof of residency, and the only quick way for me to make money was to do Instacart, because with my Uber account I have to wait 3 to 5 days in order for me to. The only thing I was going to be able to do was Instacart, and I'm explaining that to them, and I'm basically letting them know my situation. Like, ain't no money to put down. I literally spent $12.39 or 69 cents to get from the airport there, and was hoping that I had enough to even get back to the airport from there, which I did. Thank all praise be to the Most High. But yeah, it wasn't really a long process. It was just kind of like they thought that I was looking for something a little bit more than what I was looking for, but I felt like they were trying to take advantage of the fact of my situation, like being vulnerable, in need, not having any family here, not having money to put down on something that's reliable. And I just felt like they were trying to take advantage of that, because you know how car dealerships is anyways. They try to take advantage of single women that come in there in need and don't really know no better. So, and they were trying to convince me. Okay, so the vehicle that he brought out, it was cute. It was white. It was cute on the outside, but once you looked inside, it literally had tape on the windshield. It had the writings on the window. It didn't even have the paper, like paper that be in there letting you know about if it come with a warranty, no warranty, the make, model, and all that. It literally had like yellow writing, like they got it from the junkyard or something. The inside, the seats were filthy. They had a jack in the back of the trunk. The carpet on the driver's side was all chewed up, like somebody's dog was in there just scratching at the carpet. The steering wheel was janky. They had toothpicks in the cup holder. He was like, yeah, we'll get it all cleaned up for you. And I feel like, considering the fact that I'm humble, and I don't mind starting from where I need to start from to get to where I have to get to and working my way up. I felt like they literally was trying to take advantage of that. If you would have, I don't know what made me not record that, but I just was basically trying to get out of sitting in that dang on airport dreading the day that they told me that I was going to have to leave, knowing that I didn't have nowhere to go. So that's really where my mind was at. But yeah, the inside of that vehicle looked so crazy, and I was like, okay. And I'm like, how many miles on it? It was 143,000 miles, like almost 144,000 miles. He never told me how much the vehicle was. He was like, you want to test drive it? And I'm like, yeah, okay. So we driving in, the vehicle not really smooth. I'm used to driving. Those are electric vehicles, and those are pretty smooth. Everything is sleek and clean on the inside. And just driving that, and then going to driving the vehicle that he had tried to show me, it was like the brakes didn't seem like they were good. It was like you literally had to press all the way down. I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't like that. He like, you don't like the fact that you got to press on the brakes. I'm like, no, I don't like the fact that you have to literally press down on the brakes in order to get the car to slow down. And it just didn't really feel what it came out to be, quote unquote, worth. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we bring it back. Now, he never told me the price until he came back after he tried to run my credit or whatever. He came back. Girl, they wanted $21,000 and some change for that. Pretty much $600 car note. And I'm sitting here, and then you would have to get it as is, and then you had to get full coverage insurance before you were even able to walk off the lot. It was just a lot. I'm sitting there looking at them like, but remind you, on the paperwork it said that the miles was 208,000, which was the miles on the van that I had first seen online. So I'm like, but the dash in the car say 143. Why does the paper say that it has 208? He's like, oh no, that's probably from another. Like what he was saying wasn't even making sense. So I'm like, red flag. It was just a whole bunch of red flags from the get-go. So I'm like, okay. Then he like, yeah, back to the price. Now remember I told y'all that the Toyota van was only $8,000-9,000. I'm trying to figure out where did they get $20,000 for that little Toyota RAV4. I'm trying to figure out where they get that price from. Like, they was literally trying to milk, girl, trying to milk all them new cars that was on that lot. So I'm like, this the cheapest y'all got? To most of this the cheapest that we can, you know, get you in because of your credit. You don't really have credit history, like you haven't built up credit. But y'all was able to get me in a Toyota for $8,000 to $9,000 with 208 miles with my credit. Where did this vehicle come from? You understand what I'm saying? So he like, all right, can you put anything down? Like, you know how they go. They go in the bag, play their little mind games. Oh, so yeah, so we need you to put something down. Can you put something down? No. All right, let me see if I can work a miracle. I'm a God-fearing man. You know, playing on my beliefs, because I'm not religious, but playing on my beliefs. I'm like, okay, maybe that's why God sent me here. He just looked. But anyways, come back like, okay, we can do 0 down. So yeah, so basically like getting the hopes up, but in reality, that would have been a lose-lose situation for me and a win-win for them because they were trying to get me to get it as is. And like I said, I told you all the things that I seen, the cosmetic going on, and then with the brakes, and then it just didn't drive smooth to me. So I'm just going along with it now. So hopefully y'all can hear me. So yeah, he like, okay, let me go and see if we can get you approved for it. So we got you approved for it. I'm like, what about the warranty? He's like, yeah, you probably have to add that on. What warranty are you looking for? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, the car got such and such miles on it. Like, it's a lot of wear and tear on that car. It's not giving what y'all trying to, the price y'all asking for, and it's not giving reliable. So I'm literally telling him, like, my transmission went out on my last car that I had. So ain't nobody trying to go through that again. And I could tell when I was talking to him about the transmission, he kind of was like, yeah, like he didn't really want to look up. He knew what he was doing, but you know how they gotta make a sale. But he knew what he was doing was wrong. And then for him to sit there and say that he was a God-fearing man, like, I know his conscience was eating him up. And then even the songs that was playing on the radio up in there was like, it's not about the money. It was just a lot of signs going on, but he was trying to be bougie when I told him that my last car was a Pontiac G6, a 2007, and I told him that I bought that out cash, and I didn't even pay what they was asked for. I paid less. That car lasted me 3 years before the transmission went out on me. So on the trip here, but yeah. So anyways, it was time to go back to, you know, talk to the people, the financing manager or whatever the case may be. Then the lady come up to me. See, my thing is, they looking at me like, okay, you came here from Florida, your driver's license is from Florida. They looking at me like, oh, you don't have proof of residency. They thinking that I'm finna just hop in the car and just drive back to Florida. That's not the case. They basically was judging me based off of what I didn't have and maybe whatever they experienced in the past. So, but I'm thinking to myself, like, everything is working in my favor for them to even think like that, because if it was really God will for me to get that, then everything would line up no matter what or who said no. When y'all say yeah and yes, then that's just what it is. So the lady came and asked me about accessories and car mats and stuff. Like I said, the carpets was chewed up on the driver's side of it. I'm like, nah, I would have to work my way up to that. Like, that's not my main priority right now, trying to add cosmetic stuff that should have been done. She's like, and she looking at me like, where'd you coming from? I'm like, Miami. And then she's like, oh, what brings you here? It was like giving judgmental. I mean, if you really want to know, like, everybody knows that the cost of living in Miami is extremely high. I literally was renting out a bed, not a bedroom, a bed, and basically a shared space. So the cost of living in Miami and trying to get stability there is no. The chances are slim to none, especially when you work where you would potentially make more money doing your own Ubers. You know what I'm saying? So She's like, are you going back to Florida? I'm like, no, I definitely don't have no plans on going back to Florida. I'm like, I don't even plan to go back to visit. Like, I'm over it. Like, fresh start, knew everything, just knew everything. And God led me here, and people don't really care about when you tell them that the Most High led you somewhere. They're not thinking about that. They thinking about, I don't know what they're thinking about, but that ain't none of my concern what they thinking, because I don't go off of what people think. I go off of the truth. So in my relationship, my intimate relationship with the Most High, that's really all that matters. His will be done in my life. So anyways, yeah, so she was like, oh, here come the sales agent, like, yeah, so in order for you to drive off the lot, we're not going to be able to let you drive off the lot until you get insurance. And then I literally showed this man my Chime account, negative. My Cash App only had $16, which I had to use to get back to the airport. So I'm like, bro, I just told you I didn't have anything. So what are you talking about? I'm like, if that's the case, then there's no point of trying to go through with it, because I don't have the down payment to try to even get insurance. Okay, let me see what I could do. It was just basically like a game, like just playing games, ring around the rosy. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm like, well, look, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. It's nothing I can do about that. I looked up the insurance, got quotes or whatever the case may be, had to make a down payment. Then this man literally had me call the insurance company to see if I can get the insurance started up and then make my payment later on. Like, do you know how stupid and foolish that made me look and sound? The insurance dude, like, what exactly are you trying to do? I'm like, I'm trying to get insurance on this vehicle so that I'm able to drive it off the lot. No cash down. He's like, no, you have to pay for the down payment. It's, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no way around it, which is understandable. Duh, I know that. So it's like they were basically just in there playing little mind games. So I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Okay, let me see what I can do. So I literally go back there with the financing manager. And it's just like the whole situation was just them trying to get information. Like the whole thing was just like a monitoring spirit operation. It was never God's will for me to get that vehicle. He did not want me to get that because he already knew that it wasn't worth what they were asking for. And that literally was gonna try to bind me into a piece of junk, which it didn't look like a lemon, but on the inside it looked like a lemon. But on the outside it didn't. So it was just like, yeah, nah, that God, like, nah, that ain't for you. So, you know, asking me questions about basically my life. Like, they just want to know my whole life, what brings you here. It's like the same question over and over, which they do the same thing in Florida. What made you come here? Now, I can understand Florida because the price of living is crazy, but here, not so much. A lot of people move here, especially on faith. You hear people talking about it, you know, even passengers that I was picking up when I was doing the Uber through Alto was suggesting that I come here, and it had already been on my mind for a minute. I had already been getting signs and confirmations about coming here, so, you know, it all just adds up to the cost of living, seeking stability, affordable stability, and just finally settling down, because I wasn't even settled in Miami. So yeah, but long story short, I left out of the financing. I told him, like, you know, he like, yeah, you're not gonna find a deal like this, you know how that is. And then another thing that happened was somebody called and was saying that they had a problem with their vehicle. They kept calling, he was ignoring the call. And then he finally picked up the phone, and he picked it up with an attitude. At first he was trying to act like he was like a father figure or whatever, trying to give me advice, call himself trying to school me and telling me what hard work, it take hard work and all of this. Like, you don't even know me. Like, bro, I work hard. Like, I ain't ever walked around asking for no handout from nobody. Help, assistance, support, yeah, but walking looking for something free, a handout, like, nah. If it's given to me, then, and if it's God's will, then yeah, then I'll accept it. But I ain't ever been that type. So you know how people just be thinking that they know you, and they don't, and they be trying to get to know monitoring spirits. So yeah, the person kept calling, and he like, I need to speak with a manager over financing or something. And he was like, well, what's going on? And I guess the dude was saying something was wrong with the vehicle, and you can hear him through the other side of the phone. He was like, well, you wasn't supposed to, who told you to sign the, whatever he was saying, basically who told you to pay for the vehicle if you knew that it was something wrong with it, or something he said. And he was like, all right, I'm with the customer, goodbye, and hung the phone up on him. It was like, oh yeah, no, God was showing me his true colors. Like, he told me, I'm sorry about that. He just keeps calling my phone, like, what's wrong with him? And it was just like the energies changed. It was like, oh yeah, nah, like, yeah, we're not gonna be able to, cause he was trying to give me the the dealership insurance for 21 days until I was able to, you know, work and get my own insurance and switch it over to whatever the case may be. And he was saying, no, they don't want to do it. It wasn't they don't want to do it. It was the Most High didn't want them to allow that to go through, because that wasn't what he had for me. So yeah, I walked up out of there. I had told Josh I was trying to see was he able to help me out with the Uber to the airport, but I forgot he was telling me how he have a Camry or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, he probably don't have no Uber. So he was like, well, what did he say? You know, when he came out, he gave me the thumbs up, like, everything okay? And I'm like, nah. Which I'm pretty sure he had already knew that. And he like, what did he say? I'm like, I was telling him about the insurance or whatever. I need to take my oregano oil. I was telling him about the insurance or whatever, and that they wasn't going to be able to go through with it. He's like, I was like, yeah, so I was just trying to see if you could help me out with the with an Uber back to the airport. Because I was trying to save the $16 that I did have on my Cash App card. So he was like, Uber, let me go talk to him. And that man went to the back and acted like he never came back out. It was just like disrespectful. Like, he could have just came out like, hey, yeah, I'm sorry that, you know, things didn't work out or whatever the case may be. And yeah, I don't have Uber or whatever the case may be. Like, you know, he don't have to do any of that, but it's just the fact that people sit there and smile in your face. Yeah, we finna try to get her for this, because the finance manager was saying that they get paid out for the vehicle. Like, and then the person would just be making the payments. That's how it worked. That's why they tried to up the price on that thing on vehicle, knowing that it was a limit. And I'm just sitting there listening to him like, yeah, y'all was on some BS, and that's why I got the Most High was protecting me from that. So it was just like everything changed. Like, oh, you on your own now. Basically, that's what it was given. So I just sat out there and waited for the price on the Ubers to go down in order for me to even leave. I didn't leave until like 8:38, I think. So yeah, just like now, like monitoring spirits, just walking around. So yeah, I didn't leave until like 8:30, almost 8:38, almost 9 o'clock. And the crazy part about it was, as soon as I left out, it was like all like sales managers was coming out trying to see what vehicle was I getting in. Like, they just really thought, I don't know what they thought, like, people just, but that just shows you that that's the type of people that they are. So they be expecting people to come and get over on them because they get over on other people. So that's why they was, you know, so on edge about the whole situation. I'm just sitting here looking at them, and I even called the finance manager out on it. I'm like, y'all uncomfortable because y'all think that with my driver's license being you know, issued in Florida or whatever the case may be, or switched over to Florida from my previous driver's license, y'all think that I'm just gonna get back on the road and run to Florida. That's not the case. Oh no, it's just certain precautions that we have to take, and that's one of them. Just, you know, keep it real. So yeah, that's basically what it was. And then I got back to the airport, and let me tell you, I get back to the airport. Oh, that's nothing. The finance manager was asking me a lot of questions because I told him, like, I've been at the airport for 6 days, like, and ain't nobody bothering me. He was like, really? So he's like, what did you do at the airport? Were you just walking around? What airport were you at? Were you just walking around? Did you ever leave the airport and come back? You know, he was just asking a lot of questions. So I'm like, The fact that you wanted to know which airport I was at, I pay attention. So I get back to the airport. It's a lady sitting over in the cut by the vending machine on a little couch. She had a duffel bag and a little fanny pack. It wasn't given I'm on my way to an airport. It's given I'm on my way to a Greyhound, or I'm basically like a plant here. So it was another dude, probably looked like he was probably Mexican or something. He was to the right on one of the chairs, the little lounge chairs. There's 3 lounge chairs, and I sat in the lounge chair closest to the doors, and he was at the lounge chair closest towards the other terminals. He had like 3 luggages and a backpack and another bag. It just was a whole bunch going on. The bags were all raggedy. They didn't match. They just looked like somebody gave him the bag so he could just go up there and be like a decoy or something. So the lady sitting there watching me, and I see her from the corner of my eye as I'm getting my charger out to charge my phone and to sit down in the chair because I'm finna get ready and lay down. She watching me, so I move my suitcase further up. Then she get up and go and get some coffee and literally walk towards the chairs where I'm at and look at me, and I'm looking at her. She nod her head down, I nod my head down. She started laughing, I started laughing. So she sit down in the chair. This lady sitting up here telling me her whole life story, asking me questions. Well, you here? But she was like, the first thing she said out her mouth was, "You here for a 424?" I'm like, it wouldn't be my first. And she kind of got quiet. Then she started saying, "Oh well." I asked her, "Are you from New Orleans?" She was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I can tell by your accent." I pay attention because one of the managers when I first came there, the man said that I came from New Orleans, but I didn't. And the manager said that he was from Louisiana. Okay, so she sit down, she get to talking about her daughters, and her daughter put her out and basically drove her to the airport. And her other daughter said that she couldn't come and stay with her, so she was offering to get her a hotel. So basically she was talking about how she mistreated her kids and her kids still feel some type of way about it. She was just going on. The lady was talking for like, let me see, what time did I get there? Basically 9 o'clock. I fell asleep at like 12 going on 1. Like, she was talking the whole time. She just was talking the whole time. So then she asked me when she was talking, she's like, "You finna go to sleep?" And I'm like, "Why you asking me that?" "Oh, because I wanted to show you the Chris Brown lyrics to the song that I feel like my daughter was playing for me." I'm like, I can look that up myself. So I looked it up or whatever. I don't know. She was just talking about a whole bunch of hoopla. And then she was asking me again, "Is your mama still alive?" I had told them at the car lot, like, well, no, my mom's not living, my dad is still living, or whatever the case may be. That's another thing. Is your mom still alive? I'm like, why you ask me that? She was like, oh, because when you said something about her, you said she was or something. I just got quiet. And she's like, I'm sorry. Girl, about 2:40, here come, I don't know what they call, but they wear the little orange shirts. When she seen that I put my scriptures on. I started playing my Bible scriptures in my ear, and I started dozing off. She stopped talking then. She laid back. And then another thing to do with all the weird looking luggage, he hopped up, walked to an area that he wasn't even supposed to be going to, saying he had to go to baggage claim. Like, bro, you got like 5 things of luggage on you already. What more baggage do you need to claim? Then he come back, go the other way. Then he come back to me, I'm sorry, they sent me on a wild goose hunt, and he was talking to her. She was like, oh, I'm sorry about that. At least you got your spot back. He's like, yeah. But anyways, 2:40, I hear the people that work at the airport coming in, and they asked him, excuse me, sir, can I see your boarding pass? And I hear somebody else say, oh no, he has tags on it, so he's good. Then they asked the lady in the middle, can I see your boarding pass? She didn't say nothing. She just pulled the phone out. Was like, and he was like, okay. Then he came to me. He was like, can I see your boarding pass? I'm like, I don't have a boarding pass. And he was like, what airlines are you flying through? He was like, he asked me again, can I see a boarding pass, and what airlines are you flying through? I'm like, I don't have a boarding pass. And he was like, what airlines are you flying through? And I'm like, none as of yet. And then he was like, oh, did you fly in? I'm like, no, because I literally took Greyhound here. So I only went to the airport so that I was not on the street. So he like, oh, well, since you don't have a boarding pass and you don't plan on, flying out, we're going to have to ask you to leave the airport. I said, okay, and I got up and I started to get my stuff. And then the officer was like, well, did you fly in? And I was like, no. I felt like they were trying to get a reaction out of me that you're not going to get, because what's the point of me getting hostile with you? That's your, you know what I'm saying? That's where you work at. Like, it ain't like that I was finna catch a flight, and like I said, it was only God will that I was there as long as I was. So how can I get mad that y'all telling me to get out? Like, it's okay. I'll get up, I'll just go, go outside. So they showed me where the bus stop was at, basically. And one of the officers helped me with my suitcase, getting on the elevator, getting off or whatever. He was like, yeah, the metro was right there. I don't know, and the buses wasn't even running yet. They didn't start running until like 4:20, but I'm like, I don't have nowhere to go. So I just was like, the only thing I could do is come to the Salvation Army and just hope that they, take me in, because I need to start work, honestly. I wasn't even able to finish my onboarding process, switching over from Florida to here in Houston, because Where am I gonna wash up at? Where I'm gonna leave my stuff at? Where I'm trying to go and finish all that, get all of that. I want to do that at the airport, because every 10 minutes they saying, please don't leave your luggage and stuff unsupervised or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I like just go to the Salvation Army. I let them know or whatever, put my name on the list, and I was thinking that they were gonna call me, but they didn't. So I was sitting out here. I got here at 8:21. So from 2:40, I got on the bus and made my way over here, which thank God that it was only $3. No, actually, it was only $2 because the bus driver let me get on the first bus for free. And I only had to pay $2 for the second bus to get here. And that walk was crazy from the bus stop. Like, oh my gosh, like I almost passed out. I don't have no water, no food, no nothing. I'm just sitting here in this heat. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that walk getting here was crazy. The sidewalks is all jacked up, trying to roll a suitcase. And even when I asked the man that was working at the hospital for directions, he was like, be careful. I mean, but it don't really look too bad over here. It actually look nice. So, but walking over here, I see why he said be careful. But yeah, I had to go back in there to see if they were gonna be able to give me my assessment. They just gave it to me, so now I'm just waiting for the Most High God to finish doing His will be done. You know, for me to go inside, I need to take a shower. I already got my my onboarding process, my appointment scheduled, which they didn't even have availabilities until next week. So, but yeah, at least I got that scheduled by the Most High grace. And yeah, I just wanted to share that part of my video. Like, this is 40 minutes, 40-minute breakdown. So I'm pretty sure this video probably gonna be 2 parts, or I'll probably make it 2 parts. But yeah, thank y'all for listening to a part of my testimony, my move of faith and relocation, and on the road to stability, you guys. So yeah, thumbs up, love y'all.